Yeah, Joyce and Jake, good morning to you. Sad to report that the driver of this crash under arrest for 2 counts of vehicular homicide after he crossed the center line here on State Route 18. He was driving this truck right here. The driver of that truck is now at Harborview Medical Center under arrest for 2 counts of vehicular homicide. The driver of the car that's to the left of it, the 2 people that were in that vehicle, it's presumed innocent people at this point, are dead following this crash. Again, that driver under arrest for vehicular homicide. Again, taking some video that we shot from earlier, some huge backups right now on State Route 18 as the whole roadway is shut down. That truck crossing the center line. I asked WSP just minutes ago what led them to the arrest of that man.
Apparently he was talking. I'm not sure exactly what he said, but from what the troopers were able to gather at the scene, and we also have a Trooper Gannon at Harborview, who's a drug recognition expert. The totality of everything led us to have probable cause to place him in custody for 2 counts of vehicular homicide.
So he survives. The 2 people in the other car are dead. As you look live here from Sky King this morning, huge backups in place on both directions of State Route 18 from Issaquah Hobart Road to I-90. It's completely shut down. I just spoke with WSP. They told me minutes ago that this is expected to be shut down. State Route 18 here at the Tiger Mountain Summit expected to be shut down for 2 more hours. So if you're heading out the door, be mindful of that. But as you look live here on this Friday morning, this really is just a devastating story. The 2 people, innocent, are dead. The driver suspected of being under the influence, placed under arrest, now at Harborview, still alive, facing 2 counts of vehicular homicide. Jake and Joyce.
Okay.